And here is part 2 of 11 need to knows about getting a video game job. Striking it rich is less likely than winning a big lottery jackpot. Most of the people who are making a living in games are working for studios on a salary. They don't get royalties even if the game is a huge hit. Their studio makes the money. Now they might get a one-time bonus. And even mobile games are now dominated by such big companies. So if you do the math, you'll find that there are many more big lottery winners than big successful video games where the developers actually get the advantage of the huge income, as in millions of dollars. You are more likely to win the lottery than to make millions in video games. Much more likely. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Notch made billions with Minecraft, but there's only one Minecraft. The industry expects self-governing employees. You have to take care of things on your own. No one's going to hold your hand. You can't wait to be told what to do. No one is going to do your work for you. There's this famous saying that there are two kinds of people, those who do the work and those who get the credit. Well, the ones who don't do work in video games will not stay employed. It's a job. It's not a hobby. It's not an entertainment. And it certainly isn't about playing games. You have to be a useful person. Unfortunately, crunch time is still common in the video game industry, which is a result of poor management. What crunch time is the deadline for a game completion approaches. The studio is making a game for a publisher, and the publisher has advertising schedules and other schedules. At that point, employees are more or less forced to work 20 to 40 hours extra per week without additional pay to get the game done. And this compensates for poor management. Feature creep, which is adding extra features which were not planned at the start, competing with features of other games, effects of interference from the publisher, and this can go on, this crunch time, for months. Even though research has shown that crunching past 40 hours only works for about 6 weeks. There's a reason why the work week is 40 hours. In the video game industry, there's no room for perfectionism. Time is of the essence. As I've said, games tend to take longer than planned for various reasons, so employees who can get a job done fast are most desirable. Unfortunately, perfectionists tend to dwell on their work, and that's not usually something that results in quick work. That just doesn't fly in a competitive industry. I had a student once who was, I thought, quite good at line drawings, but she'd draw and then she'd keep revising it and keep revising it. As far as I could see, it wasn't really changing, and she'd work on it for a very long time. That just will not work in the video game industry. You have to get to a certain point, a good point, and then stop and do something else, do more. Your situation, whether you're a good person or what your passion is, doesn't matter. No one wants to give you a job, except maybe your relatives. They are forced to hire someone to do the work that they cannot do themselves, either for lack of time or lack of skills. You don't get hired because you're a good person, although that's not a bad thing. You're hired because you're expected to be a useful person. Passion especially is highly overrated. I think it's usually people who don't have skills who tend to hope that passion will compensate for that lack of skills. But after all, most people working in the video game industry really like video games already. Being passionate doesn't set you apart from anybody else. Nor does being good at video games, because that has nothing to do with making them. Now, as I said, I've discussed this topic at great length. Well, it's 3-4 hours in a course called Get a Job in the Video Game Industry. And for more information and for discount coupons, you can look at pulseforgames.com. You may already have that class available if you're on one of the subscription-based online e-learning locations.